started, she experienced it and she can't have enough of it. And people are going to be like, are you for real? Is that really you? That is really, really her. The real you exists. The real you exists. When are we going to go after the real us? Hey, guys, Lara, thank you for sharing. Keep bringing the content. And there's another version of it that's waiting for you. There's another version waiting for you 2026. So go for it. There's no stopping you, girl. Congratulations. Congratulations. So proud of you. Okay, Anne, go for it. Let me help you on mute. Go for it, man. Anne, are you there? Are you able to?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
good.
here.
Okay,
Can you hear
awesome.
me?
Yes, we can. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, you can't see me.
No, my darling. No, no. The
What am I
camera is
going to
not
do now?
aligning. No, did you have the camera button in on your screen? Can you transfer whether it has a line across it? If
Come,
it
let
does,
me check.
please, because it would be nice to behold the
Okay,
face.
okay. The camera, something has a line across it. Let me
Aha.
check.
So click on the arrow on the right hand side and then take the line off. Just say, just click on the actual camera. Actually, click on the camera again, and it should take the line off. Beautiful, we behold, and that's all. Okay, go for it, sis. Go for it.
Okay, you see me now.
Clearly, that's how I was killing you and clapping for you. We see you and we hear you.
Okay.
Go for it.
Hello. Good
Hello.
evening, everyone.
Good evening, sis.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sis.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be in this community. In fact, ever since I came here, I can say that I was lost. I was so stuck. In fact, there was no shift. I thought that everything was over for me. So until I came across Capo, and I can say that there are certain things I cannot express here now. So, but my gratitude, I'm expressing it to him, and then I thank God for him answering this call. I thank God for him impacting me. I was broke. I hope you're hearing me.
Clearly, we can
Hello?
hear you. We can hear you. I'm here.
Yes.
We are hearing you well.
Yes. So
yes,
I was broke. I was broke, and I shared with him, and he understood with me, and he really helped me at his personal level. And I want to thank God for God using him for me. I had an accident, broke my leg, and all of that. So I was like fed up. I was like disconnected. I was like hiding, stuck. But God, through this man, started helping me. And through meditation, I knew that, there was a lot that was making me not to have a change, not to be the best version of myself. So, but I couldn't afford to go to the retreat. But even then, the boot camp has helped me, and I can't wait for the next retreat to go there. But I can start. I'm getting connected. People are remembering me, and I was one that was disconnecting from people. I want to thank God there's a shift, but I still need to experience more. So I want to thank God. I want to ask that God will help Capo and we bless him richly. And everyone that has come here that is thirsty, that God of heaven will meet all of us, that will be useful to our generation.
Amen.
Thank you,
You
everyone.
see, now, you have taught me to, I've been saying amen, amen. You see, now I'm trying to move away from making it church. Now you have taken me back to church. The way you were just praying those prayers. I'll just say amen, amen. I'll start saying, somebody praise the Lord. Then they'll say, Vinny, it's not church. Oh, it's SOAR. It's SOAR. Even though it's Sunday. Stand careful, though. You almost took me to church now. See you now, but it's still amen. It's still, as I've said it, so it shall be. we'll be empowered, we'll be strengthened, we'll be energized, we would move from glory to glory. Let me calm down before I bring scripture again, before Capo say, hey, this woman. But really, we're going from glory to glory, from strength to strength. We're expecting a greater version of ourselves from every level to another level. There's no limit to what we're going to experience in life. If you take off the limit, we become limitless. Right now, we're seeing limits. We're limitless. What Lara saw was just a tip of the iceberg. There's so many things you desire. If you have that desire, you can actually experience it if you know how to. So, my sisters and my brothers, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the one and only Bankole Williams, who has made our experience remarkable, who has answered the call, and who is even willing to give more and more and more. It's an honor to call him my brother, my coach, my mentor. What else can I call him now? No, he's not Gen Z before he slaps me. My darling. Can you please welcome back Colin Williams with love and appreciation as we go into 2026 on the best jetliner that we can ever imagine, the improved jetliner. Over to you, Bankole. Love you so much, darling.
Yeah, I love you too. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Who's out there? I see you, Remide. Hi. Achenyo. So lovely to see you. Right. Hope you can hear me. Anne, good to see you again.
Clearly.
BJ. BJ of life. Lara, lovely to see you. Funlola, it's been a bit. Funlola, you haven't sent me a message again. You haven't
Papola,
asked me the questions.
Kapo, hold on. Ofolola, what's that now? What's that you did? When I was talking, you didn't turn your camera on. Now Kapo came in, now turn your camera on. Is it like that now? I'll meet you offline. Don't worry. I saw that too. I saw that move. Mankole, over to you. You see now, Fulola Bankole is frozen. Then.
I'm back. Dr. Smile, good to see you. Who else is out there? Guys, turn on your cameras. It's been a bit now. Halima, so lovely to see you again. Hi, MM. How have you been? Welcome, everyone, to our SOAR alumni session. This is our first one for 2026. So good to see everybody, right? I thought that it would be great that we have this session, and for the very first session, it would be great that I share some of my thoughts for the year for you, sorry, with you, and also just tell you some of the plans that we have for this year. I thought more people were turning on their cameras. Adishola, where are you now? Fumi, where are you? Gideon, IJ, good to see your picture. All right, okay, Fumi, don't turn it off. Leave it like that. Right. Welcome to 2026. How has 2026 been? If you could describe 2026 with one word, right? How would you describe it? Be honest. I want to see your comments. If you could describe 2026 with one word or your experience so far, some of us are thinking about it now. With one word, what would it be? I'm looking out for your comments. Tell me in the comments. How has 2026 been? Achenyu, I'm waiting for a response. Okay, Auntie V, I've seen your message. You guys are not responding. Tell me, how has 2026 been? Funlola, Lara, Halima, MM. Or is it that? Oh, okay, sorry. I wasn't looking at the chat. I was looking at Auntie V's response. Somebody says interesting. BJ says promising. Joy says beautiful. Remide says slow burn. Interesting. Halima says dramatic. Ifeanyi says revealing. Lara says formidable. Anne says awesome. Rachel says excitedly expectant. Treasure. Wow. When last did I see you? Right. Says so far so good. Oyebanke says unveiling. MM says full throttle start of the year. There is this song by a guy called I think I Am Priest or something. I remember the first day I saw it, I said, this is it. This first line. The first line of the song is I go cut my coat oversized this year. As in, from the first line, I said, this guy is onto something. This is the year to go big or go home. Right. But thank you for your responses. So let me just jump right into it without wasting time. I'm going to share. So I actually prepared some slides to share today. Right. I'm going to proceed to share my slides. Please confirm that you can see my slides. Yeah. Can you guys see my slides? Okay, beautiful. Okay, fantastic. You guys can. So I I want to use this opportunity to remind us of certain things. You know, sometimes life happens, and when life happens, we sometimes forget these foundational principles. And today, I want to use the opportunity that I have to remind us of certain foundational principles and highlight a message that has been greatly impressed in my heart and tell you some of the plans that we have for 2026, right? I want to touch on what I know is important, imperative for us to bloom in 2026. I remember at the beginning of the year, I was praying and I was asking God for direction. I was asking Him for a word. I was asking Him to know what exactly will be necessary for one to bloom and to thrive in 2026. And I heard two words. I heard discernment and alignment, right? I remember very well. I heard discernment and alignment. And you see, 2026 is the year where you need to be very discerning. Not every good step is your step to take. I'll take that again. Not every seeming good step is your step to take. This is the year where you cannot afford to just expend energy and waste it. It is important to be very discerning. If you pay attention to the news and a lot of things are happening in the world, you will recognize that this is a year that one has to be very discerning, right? Of whose voice you follow, of what direction that you take. It might be good for others. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is your own step to take. It is imperative that you are very, very discerning on the direction that you ought to go this year. But beyond discernment is the fact that 2026 is also a year of alignment, right? You will know that we always talk about aligning internally within this community. And it is very important for us to be able to do that for things to start to align on the outside. 2026 is the year where you want to align with the right company, because the company you keep will really determine what your experiences will be like in this year. And today I want to talk about alignment and some of the consequences of misalignment and why it is necessary that we are properly aligned in this year. You know, as I was prepping for today, I was asking myself, you know, why is it that some people do not embody and manifest certain results? Why is it that some of us pray for certain things? We desire certain things to happen in our lives, but we don't experience the things that we desire. And as I was meditating, I thought to myself, what is the biggest obstacle, right, to us embodying and manifesting our desires, right? I know people who have desired, you know, a change in their medical condition. They have a health challenge and they've been on this journey for a while, but they haven't experienced the result. And I ask myself, what is the biggest obstacle to that miracle happening? There are certain people who want to experience a switch in their career. They want to experience a career progression. You've probably been on a path and you've circled that mountain for a while and you want to move to the next level, but just doesn't seem like it's happening. What is the biggest obstacle to that happening? And you see, I realized that the biggest obstacle for most people is what I call misalignment. The biggest obstacle to people manifesting their dreams, right? Living their dreams here on earth, experiencing their desires is what I call misalignment. And I'm going to touch on this a bit. And I'm going to use a very practical analogy to drive this home. And it was born out of my own personal experience. So I'll just tell you a story about something that happened with me and my car. How many of you have ever had a car that at some point had poor alignment? So the wheel balancing and alignment wasn't right. So if you took your hands off the steering, the vehicle would move in a certain direction. Have you experienced that before? Right? For some of you, you probably have taken it to, to the mechanic for them to do the wheel balancing and alignment. And even afterwards, right, if you take your hands off the steering, you would notice that the car would drift in a certain direction. Well, this was my experience. I remember giving my driver the car to go and fix the alignment twice. And when he brought the car back, I drove it, took my hands off the steering, and the car was still drifting. So somebody introduced me to a mechanic who checked out the car, and he said the problem was the steering rack. So he changed the steering rack, and when he was done, right, I drove the car out of his place, and as I was driving, I took my hands off the steering, and guess what happened? The car still was drifting. So I called the guy. I said, I thought you said you had fixed this. He said to me, I still need to take it for alignment. And he recommended a specific place that's, if I go there, they'll do it well. So I took the car there, they fixed it. I started driving, took my hands off the steering, and I noticed it was moving straight. So that day, I decided to take the coastal road. Now, if you've ever driven on the coastal road, it's smooth sailing, beautiful road. There's the temptation to step on that accelerator, right? So I was really accelerating. I think I was doing like 100 kilometers per hour or something. And then I noticed that the steering started shaking. I said, what manner of problem is this? Some of you know what I'm talking about. From one issue to another with a mechanic. So I called the mechanic and I said, hey, I thought we fixed the steering rack. How come, when I'm accelerating to a certain point, the steering starts to shake? He says I should bring it back. I bring the car back to him. And he starts driving. And the minute he started driving, he said, you know what? I know what the problem is. He said, my tire is bad. He parks the car, comes out of it. And true to his word, I look at the tire at the back and it was sloping to one side. So apparently, all these issues were connected to the fact that the car's alignment was bad. And because the alignment was bad, not only did the car drift, certain components of the car were damaged as a result of this. And I remember leaving that place, and I'm a student of life. So I remember leaving that place and I thought to myself, Bankole, there is something here. There is something to learn about life here, and I've shared this thing before. It says that the inanimate things of God, right, even the Godhead, can be seen through the things that are made. Meaning that we can look at the things that are made and we can draw out of them universal lessons. And that's one of the things I want to be able to do here today. You see, one of the ways God communicates his message to us is, yes, through the scriptures, but it's not just subject to that. Even the inanimate things can convey these universal principles. It records of Solomon, that Solomon was the wisest man on earth. Yet, when people came to meet Solomon, what was Solomon sharing? Solomon was talking about the beasts. he was talking about trees. That's what people traveled all the way to hear Solomon talk about, right? So he learned from the trees, he learned from the beasts. He said, look at the ants, right? He studied the ants. He said, look at the sluggard. He looked at the sluggard and was able to draw out a fundamental principle about life: a little sleep, a little slumber. The point here is, for me, that day I had an experience, and then it hit me that the reason a lot of people struggle to drive the vehicle of their lives in the direction of their desired destination is because of misalignment. It's because of misalignment. And you see, in 2026, you cannot afford to be misaligned, right? You cannot afford to be misaligned. So I will be using the parallel of wheel balancing and alignment, right, to draw, to drive home this message that I want to teach today. So for the purpose of what it is that we're doing today, we all will be mechanics, right? Just for today. Yeah. So the first thing I want to establish is that you can desire going forward, but your members can be going sideways. You can desire abundance in your life, but what is registered in your members can be contrary to the abundance that you desire. You can desire to be happy in your marriage and happy in your family, right? But if you have not dealt with what is registered in your members, it might look like you are moving forward, but your members are going sideways. And ultimately, you will find out that you do not land in that desired destination. So it is important to focus on alignment. You can have a full tank of opportunities. You can have a full tank of opportunities. You can be in the midst of opportunities. You can have a clear destination. You can say by December 31, 2026, this is what would happen. I would have bought the home. I would have bought the house. You can say by December 31, 2026, this miracle that I've been asking for, I've drawn the line. It will happen this year. You can be clear on the destination. You can have a sound engine, but if you are misaligned, life will respond to your inner alignment, right? And there have been so many instances where people are in the presence of opportunities. There's abundance around them, but they will not see it. Two people can be walking on the same road. One person will see everything wrong, the other person will see everything right. It is all a function of their inner alignment. I'm reminded of a story of two guys from a shoe manufacturing company in Chicago that were sent to India to expand the scope of their business. The first guy gets to India, he sees that Indians are not wearing shoes, right? And he thinks to himself, why in heaven's name did they send me here? Indians have not started wearing shoes. This is an utter waste of my time. He calls the home country and he says to them, please send me a ticket. I'm coming back home. Indians have not started wearing shoes. It's a waste of our time. I'm coming back home. The second guy from this same company goes to India and he sees that in that area in India, they had not started wearing shoes. And he thinks to himself, oh my goodness, what a massive opportunity. He calls the home country and he says to them, the shoes that you sent me with are not enough. Can you send more shoes? Our business is about to boom. Somebody said he might have been an Igbo man. He saw market, right? Two people had the same situation, but they had different interpretations. And I'm saying to you that your interpretations of the situations that will come in your direction in 2026 will ultimately determine how life produces for you. And if you are rightly aligned, you will see properly. If you are misaligned, you will miss out on the opportunities that exist for you, right? So desire is direction, right? Desire is direction. Can somebody in the comments tell me what is one thing you desire to produce in 2026? Just type it in the comment. What is one thing that you've set as a goal for yourself in 2026? What's that desire? That desire is direction. That desire is direction. And I want you to know that it says, what things soever ye desire, ask in prayer, believing you have received, such things shall you have. The reason you have that desire is because it is possible. It is a possibility that exists for you, right? Somebody says, BJ says, launching the Abudex app. Fantastic, fantastic. Any other person, guys, tell me what is your desire? What is the thing that you want to produce? In what area of your life would you like to see something tangible happen to you? Is it in your finances? Is it in your marriage? Is it in your health? Is it in your career? What do you really and genuinely desire? Right? iPhone, I don't know who that is, says top sales realtor, right? What does that mean? How much money do you intend to make? Right? I need more people. Tell me, what is your desire? Right? Bemisola says to finish my PhD. Brenda says one thing I desire is wealth and expansion of my family business. To what degree? Right? To what capacity do you want to see this expansion? Right? So it is important to have desire. So desire is direction, but alignment is delivery. What will guarantee that which you desire will be delivered unto you is that you are properly aligned. You are properly aligned. So I can desire to go in a specific direction and I enter my car. But if my alignment is moving the car in a different direction, if I don't hold on to the steering and I allow my alignment lead the vehicle, I will not land in my desired destination. So what guarantees delivery is alignment. Somebody in the comments type 2026 is the year of alignment. It's the year of alignment. It's the year of alignment. So you may want one thing consciously, but your habits, if not aligned, your identity, if not aligned, your nervous system, your daily routines, hidden fears, your default thoughts may still be loyal to your old life, right? You may desire the new, but if you don't properly work on your alignment, all of these things may still be loyal to your old life, right? You may desire the new, you may desire something new, but you see, there is a default wiring in your members. There is a default habit that you have. There is a default identity. There is something registered in your nervous system. And if you don't address these things, right, you may still be loyal to your old life. You know, it's something I love saying. I said, people often select familiar misery over foreign happiness. People often will select familiar misery. Ask them, do they want to be happy? Do they want to experience something new in the year? They will say yes. But you see, there is something on the inside of us that if we don't address, it is loyal to our past. It is loyal to our past experiences. And if we don't get it to align with our desires, we struggle. We struggle. So it is important that we pay attention to aligning. So you may sincerely desire growth. You may sincerely desire peace, wealth, health, right? Impact. But if your thoughts are not aligned, if your emotions are misaligned, if your habits are misaligned, if your body is dysregulated, if your self-image is outdated, right, then your life will drift away from your desire. even when you are trying. And some of you know what I'm talking about. You work really hard. You've been putting in a lot of efforts. You've been trying, putting in all the efforts, but that effort hasn't translated into results. For some of us, we've practiced these principles, we've experienced it, but maybe life has happened and you have forgotten, and Bankole is here to remind you that you need to click on the inside for things to click on the outside. And it is imperative that we deal with aligning on the inside before we begin to experience whatever results that we desire to experience on the outside. So again, I am going to work with the parallel of this wheel alignment thing that I experienced. And I'm going to use certain components to drive this message home. So we see the specific areas where we need to make the adjustments. And if we can make these adjustments, we can begin to see some kinds of results in our lives. Right. Now, the first thing I want to address is what I call the steering wheel. The steering wheel of your life is your conscious desire. So we all have a conscious desire. Some of us have communicated in the comments what we desire to see ourselves experience in 2026. You are aware of it. You are conscious of it. You know what it is. You know what you desire, right? And that intent that you have is supposed to steer your life in a specific direction. But you see, if the inner alignment is wrong, or if you're misaligned, you can land in the wrong destination. So the steering wheel of your life is your intent, is your desire. But you see, beyond the steering wheel is your alignment. And what is this alignment that Bankole has been talking about? It is what I call the mind and the body congruence. That what is happening in your head is what is embodied in your body, right? What is going on in your head is what is embodied in your body. It's the mind and body congruence. And when the mind and the body are congruent, right, in the direction of your desire, the forces of this world would ensure that that which you desire, you manifest. Right? So remember, your conscious desire is the steering wheel, right? It directs your life. But that wheel alignment or that inner alignment is that your mind and your body are congruent. And the way you know that your mind and your body are congruent is by your feelings. Remember, I keep saying this thing that feelings or your emotions are the language of the body. So the way you feel is an indication of the fact that your body is in alignment with your vision. So if something contrary to what you desire shows up and your predominant emotion is a negative emotion, it is proof to you that maybe your body has not really gotten that instruction. So it is imperative, it is important that we are able to get our bodies to align with the desires of our minds, right? So what is the cost of misalignment? What is the cost of misalignment? And this is how you know whether or not you are out of alignment. I'm going to show you certain things that will let you know whether you are out of alignment. The first one is what I call tire wear out. Pretty much like what happened to me. This is exactly what had happened. A portion of my tire, some of you probably have experienced this, had chopped in a certain direction, right? Now, the question is, what is the parallel for tire wear outs? And I'm going to tell you, it is what I call an uneven wearing, where it looks like it's working out in one area of your life, but in another area of your life, you are really struggling. And the way you know is that there is what I call inner turmoil, right? You're experiencing inner frustration. On the outside, it may look like you are fine. People think that you're good. Everything is going well. But there is a discomfort. There is a frustration on the inside of you. There is an inner turmoil. You can't exactly place your finger on it. but you just feel like something doesn't click on the inside, even though it looks like things look right on the outside, right? It is proof that something isn't in alignment there. Am I speaking to somebody? Is this somebody's experience? Please let me know, right? It's the same way my tires were worn out. And because my tires were worn out, what was happening when I was driving? I was driving at 100 kilometers per hour, and I noticed that my steering was shaking. There was some kind of turbulence, right? You are trying to be at peace, but there is a discomfort, there is a turbulence that's existing on the inside of you. It seems like everything is good on the outside. It seems like, your career seems good, but you're still not satisfied. There is an inner discomfort. It is proof that there is a misalignment there, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is what I call your suspension components wear out. Now, if you know anything about cars, you would know that there are certain components that are attached to the tire that potentially can wear out if you are out of alignment. So things like your stabilizer linkage, your lower arm, stuff like that, those are things that ensure that the car is properly suspended. Now, when the car is not aligned, right, the suspension begins to wear out. Now, what is the parallel for this in life? Your suspension system is the capacity to absorb pressure. The capacity to absorb pressure. Some of you have seen yourself react in ways that surprised you. A situation showed up in life that caused pressure, and you are not able to absorb it. In fact, you snapped in a way that caused you to be surprised at yourself. It almost feels like you don't have the capacity to take on, the vicissitudes of life. And you see, in the current world that we find ourselves in, there are a lot of things that are thrown. If you just go on social media alone, you would see a lot of negative information, right? People are wondering what in heaven's name is going around the world. And you are finding out that you seemingly don't have the capacity to withstand what life is throwing at you. It's like you don't have the shock absorber to be able to absorb, right, the challenges and the pressures of life. It almost feels like your strength is wearing thin. Could it be that that is an indication that you are misaligned, that you are out of alignment, right? You seem not to be as resilient as you used to know yourself. And you see, I passed through a phase like this, so I know what it is I'm talking about. Certain things that you thought you were strong to withstand, all of a sudden it seems like you don't have the resilience to be able to deal with those things, right? Maybe that's an indication that you're out of alignment. And sometimes this alignment may not just be alignment with respect to your desire. Sometimes this alignment could be with respect to what God wills for you in that season of your life. And I feel that this is for somebody. You are probably doing something that is not in alignment with what specifically He has told you to do. Right? There's an instruction. There's something in particular that He has told you to do. For somebody, it is that He has told you to be of assistance to somebody, but you have resisted that instruction. And because you have resisted that instruction, you are out of alignment. And because you are out of alignment, you are experiencing these kinds of challenges. And if you would only just obey, right, His instruction and just stay in the center of His will, you will begin to see that the capacity to deal, right, with the things that life throws at you, right? Oh, am I speaking to somebody? I see somebody covering their face, right? You would see that the capacity to deal with the things that life throws at you will show up, right? Alignment is so key. It's so key. The question here is, what are those instructions? Sometimes it's something little that He has told you to do, but you have disobeyed, But you see, every choice that you make determines the direction of your life. Every choice that you make, every decision or indecision is a cause that you are setting in motion. Listen to me. Every decision, I remember God told me something specific. He said, He gave me a specific instruction about worshiping Him at a specific time every day, and I disregarded it. And I paid dearly for it. And every time something would happen that I would not have the capacity to handle, it would pop up in my mind that this is something He has told you to do. But you're out of alignment. And I'm telling you, when you go out of alignment, oh my goodness, you will struggle. So it is important to pay attention. It is important. Obedience is better than sacrifice. It is important to align to that little, still, small voice that gives you that nudge, that small, subtle nudge, and be in alignment with what it wills, because that can ultimately see. In golf, a millimeter tilt in the club, in the club that you used to swing, right? A millimeter tilt can cause the ball to miss the hole by several meters. So just that small tilt that causes you to move in a specific direction can cause you to miss the mark by miles. Guys, did you hear what I'm saying? Just that small tilt, right, over a period of time can cause you to miss the mark by miles. And that's why it is important to pay attention to those subtle nudges, to pay attention to those subtle instructions, and be aligned and be aligned and be aligned. And if you are struggling, you find that you don't have that emotional resilience to be able to deal. You find that your shock absorber is not fully functional. Could it be that you have strayed? Could it be that you have drifted? Right? Remember what I said about this year. 2026 is the year of discernment, is the year to pay attention, is the year to pay attention and discern right. It's also the year of alignment. Somebody says I'm throwing stones. Hopefully, the scales will fall off our eyes today, right? So these are actual things that are impacted, right, when we are misaligned. These are the costs, certain costs of misalignment. Number 3, right? So misalignment doesn't just affect direction, it weakens your ability to absorb life. How many of you have noticed that certain things that you really could, tolerate, take, all of a sudden, those things are getting to you. Things that didn't used to get to you before. It's important to ask yourself, have I drifted? Have I missed the mark? Moving on. Number 3, another thing that is affected, and take note, these are things that happened with me, with my own car, is that the steering components can wear. The steering components of the car can wear when the tires are not properly aligned, right? Which is what ultimately affected my steering rack, and I had to change the steering rack. So what is the parallel for this in life? What is the parallel for this? This is like damage to your decision-making system, because the steering is what determines whether you go left or whether you go right. It is the choices you make in life, right? And if you are not aligned, chances are that you would make wrong choices, right? You will notice that your judgment gets tired. You will notice the fatigue of decision making. You will notice you are not as keen to know the right step to take. Why? Because you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment, right? And remember, I said this is the year to discern, right? And be keen to know. The problem a lot of times is not that God isn't speaking, it is that we are out of alignment from where the speech and the conversation is happening. It is not that he's not answering. Could it be that we are misaligned? And we need to find our way back. We need to find our way back to recenter so that we can know the right step, the right decision to make, right? The right decision to make. I saw it, I think it was a tweet. Somebody tweeted that if you miss your turn on the coastal road, that you may find yourself in Calabar. So sometimes, missing the mark and not making the right turn. Yes, you would have the opportunity to recalibrate and all that, but it's important this year to be keen to listen. It's important to be keen to listen. And if you found yourself making wrong decisions, somebody came up with a business idea, right? Let's invest in this particular thing, and you hastily invested and you lost money. And another opportunity came, you hastily invested, you lost money, right? Could it be that the reason you are making those wrong decisions is because you're out of alignment, right? You're out of alignment. Number 4, cost of misalignments. When your tires are not properly aligned, oh my goodness, your fuel economy drops. You will expend energy, right? You will expend unnecessary energy. You will put in a lot of effort and then you will get tired. You'll get weary. And how do you expend energy? You will find yourself overthinking unnecessarily. You find yourself procrastinating unnecessarily. You find that there is inner conflict. You are moving, but at too high a cost. Yes, it looks like you're making progress, but at too high a cost, right? At too high a cost. In fact, it could have been better that you took Uber than for you to take your car, because you took your car and then you damaged something. Moving, but at too high a cost. It seems like you're making progress, but now the cost of that seeming progress you're making is your health. And now you've had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. And you've had to spend another 4 weeks to recover. Why? Because you're out of alignment. You're making decisions on your own. You're not trying to find your center, right? And now it seems like you're moving, you're making some kind of progress, but you are expending so much energy doing it. Expending so much energy doing it, right? Expending so much energy. Now, these are some of the costs, right, of misalignment. Cost of misalignment. So misalignment turns progress into an expense. Hear me what I'm saying, guys. Misalignment turns progress into an expense. Not every good idea is your idea. Don't be hasty to jump on an opportunity because it just seems good. It may seem like progress, but it may be taking you away from your desired destination. This is the year to be discerning. I am telling you, all you need is one move. A lot of times we are making multiple moves, but I'm telling you, all you universal press, let me know. Are we learning? Are we learning? 2026, see, I know what I heard, is not the year to just put your efforts anyhow. It is the year to be discerning, to be discerning. It is the year to be discerning. It is the year to be aligned. Is this entering? Are we learning something? Right? Is the year to be discerning. So misalignment turns progress into an expense. Turns progress into an expense. So yes, it looks like I'm moving forward, and boom, something happens. You find yourself in the wrong place. Why? Because you took a wrong turn, right? Because you took a wrong turn. You see, how do we know that there is likely some kind of misalignment here? How do we know that there is likely some kind of misalignment, right? How do we know that there's likely some kind of misalignment? You see, when your inner dialogue or that inner conversation is in constant opposition to your desires, chances are that there is some misalignment here. When that inner dialogue, right, Ejura says, this is not the year for anyhowness at all. It's not. It is not the year for anyhowness. When your inner dialogue is in constant opposition to your desires, could it be that there's some misalignment here? Could it be? Could it be? This is the year to be sure that God is the one granting you the desires of your heart. That desire that you desire, it is important to know that this is God granting it to me. It is God that is inserting this desire that I'm desiring, right? Now, when your inner dialogue, that inner chatterbox that exists on the inside of us, when it is in constant opposition to your desires, chances are that it is feedback that what is embodied is different from what you are desiring, right? And some of you know what it is that I'm talking about. You want to experience healing in your body, but your mind keeps thinking about the doctor's reports. Your mind keeps telling you what the doctor said. Your mind keeps telling you about some other person who had the symptoms that you had and ultimately what happened to them. And that's your inner dialogue, that inner chatter is consistently in opposition to that which you desire, that you know that God has promised you, right? Could it be that that is proof that there is something registered in your body that is in opposition and it's not aligned with that which you desire, right? It is important to note this, that when your inner dialogue is in opposition to your desires, chances are that you may be out of alignment. Chances are that you may be out of alignment. Moving on. Now, our inner dialogue is often shaped by information that is stored in our members or in our bodies. Now, what does this mean? Every experience that you have leaves some kind of signature in your body. It leaves some kind of imprint or impression in your members, right? Every experience that we have deposits something in our bodies. Now, the body always signals the mind to think thoughts. So that experience that you have had causes the body to trigger thoughts in your mind. And a number of times, these thoughts may be in opposition to your desires. So that's why for some people, their inner dialogue is in conflict with their desires because they've had some experiences. So for somebody who, for instance, has experienced lack, right? They grew up in an environment where there was lack. They've tried to produce some measure of abundance in their lives, but all their hard work has been rewarded with lack. Now, all of those experiences are registered somewhere in the body that causes the mind to generate thoughts that are in opposition with your desire for abundance in 2026. So when we say this year will be your year, and you would experience abundance beyond measure, As you are saying your amen, the body and the experiences registered in your body is generating pop-ups in your mind, and those pop-ups are telling you, you that I know, you, how shall these things be you that I know, right? That's the inner chatter, the inner dialogue. And you see, when that inner chatter, right, generated by our members, our body, is not in alignment with our desires, we struggle to produce those things. We struggle to produce those things. So it's interesting that for a number of us, this inner chatter plays automatically. It plays out automatically, right? Some of you, for instance, when you go use the restroom or when you're taking a shower, that's when your mind has drifted and has wandered in the direction of your worry. And that inner chatter plays automatically because it is registered somewhere in your members. And until we change what is registered in the members of our bodies to align with our desires, we struggle with producing those outcomes in our lives. And you see, the brain is an automation machine. Now, what does this mean? One of the adaptive features of the brain is to automate what we repeat. So because something has been repeated, the brain makes it automatic. It's just the way God created us. Sometimes I wonder why, God, why did you create us this way? Once you have repeated something without seeking permission from you, the brain thinks it is a cue for it to make that thing automatic. So if somebody has consistently been a victim of a certain medical condition without any permission from you, if it has happened again and again, the brain seeks for a cue, and when it sees that cue, it makes that ailment become automatic in that person's life. It's just the way the brain is. When we repeat something, the adaptive feature of the brain is to make it automatic. So the reason why a lot of times people struggle with producing their new desires is because they've repeated the old results. And because the results have been repeated, the brain now makes it automatic for your mind to generate those thoughts that do not align with your desires. Are we learning? Are we flowing? I hope you guys are with me. I hope I haven't lost anybody along the way. Right? Please let me know in the comments if we are flowing. Right? So it's one of the adaptive features of the brain to automate, to make automatic that which we repeat. Right? Lara says we're flowing. Fantastic. To make automatic that which we repeat. Once you repeat something over and over again, right, it becomes automatic. It becomes automatic. It's like how, I noticed one time, that every time I stepped out of my house, I call it the three, I always will pat my three pockets. And it's because I have repeated that action again and again. I think I've said this before, ladies carry handbags and they can put a lot of things in their handbag. So they have multiple things that they need to check to be sure that they did not forget before they leave the house. But for guys, there are usually three things, right? Women have multiple things. Most guys is three things: your car keys, your wallet, and your phone. So usually my wallet is at my back pocket. My phone is in my right pocket. My car keys is in my left pocket. The minute I step out of my house, my brain has automated the process of checking because I've done it repeatedly. So the cue for that motion is moving out of the door of my house. And then my hands automatically, without my permission, tap my left, right, and back pockets to confirm that I have carried those things. I'm saying that is one of the adaptive features of the brain. When we repeat something, it does it automatically. Now, the question is, what have you repeated in your life? Could it be that those things play out automatically without your permission? Without your permission. Some people have rehearsed lack again and again and again and again. that without their permission, lack now plays automatically in their brains. Some people have rehearsed a struggle. They've rehearsed that struggle again and again. They've meditated on it. They've meditated on that particular problem again and again, that without their permission, that tape just plays out automatically in their minds. It's just the way the brain is. It will automate what we have repeated. Now they want to produce tangible results in their lives, but if they don't fix what is automated in their members, they will not get their lives to align in the direction of their desires. Do we understand? Okay, I see you guys are saying we're flowing. Right. So the brain is an automation machine. So once the brain tags something as important, it stores it as a cue. It's a way of saying, remember this and react the same way next time. So when the brain stores something as a cue, it's his way of saying, remember this and react the same way next time. So where else in your life are you reacting the same way that will contradict your desire? Because you have automated something, right? And you see, how does the brain tag something as important? How does it tag something as important? Number one is by frequency, meaning that when an experience is repeated, the brain tags it as important. Frequency. When an experience is repeated, the brain tags it as important. And when it tags it as important, the brain tells the body to react the same way. To react the same way. And sometimes reacting the same way may not be what is needed to advance your life in the direction of your desires. So the question is, over the years, what have you repeated? What have you repeated? Could it be that the brain has taken that as a cue to make that thing automated or automatic in your life, right? What have you repeated? So, I always use the analogy of bush paths. How are bush paths formed? By consistently walking. On a pathway. It's the same thing with the brain. That's how neural pathways are formed. By consistently walking on a particular path. Consistently walking on a path. Before you know it, there's an expressway. There's an expressway that has been created in your mind that causes you to have that inner dialogue that chances are not in alignment with your desires, right? So every thought is like a footstep. When you think that thought of lack is like a footstep, right? Every time you think about a footpath, you're creating a bush path, right? So that now it automatically generates the thoughts of lack. Now, something important, it also tags in as important by intensity. Meaning when something is deeply felt, it be cue to the brain to make automatic. When something is deeply felt, when you have an experience that you feel deeply, it becomes a cue to the brain for something to be automated. And that's why we need to be the guardians of our hearts to determine how we feel, right? To be mindful of how we feel. A friend of mine told me a story of of a lady who, when she had her first child, it was a very, very painful delivery. I think there was a bit of trauma, that came with that particular delivery, right? And unconsciously, that experience was registered in her members. And he said to me, he said that he noticed that when this lady, anytime she's watching a movie where there's a delivery, can you guys hear me? Seems like I'm breaking. Okay, you can hear me. Beautiful. Sorry. I think my network just went off a bit. Right. So back to what I was saying. He was saying that anytime she watches, maybe for instance, a movie when there is a delivery, her body, she gets irritated, quickly wants to fast forward, that particular screen. Now, this particular lady has been trying to have a second child for years. For years. When he was sharing this story with me, I knew that there was a misalignment somewhere. There was a misalignment because the reaction in the body is proof that something she desires something, but there is something registered. Why there is a cringe effect when she sees videos of somebody giving birth. Is somebody understand what I'm saying? Because with intensity, with that intense experience, something was registered in her members. And you see, ignorance is not an excuse. It's so, sometimes these things seem unfair, but it's just how life is. That 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 you may not, because she doesn't know that there is something that you may not know, does not mean disposed to be a victim of your ignorance. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you do not know something does not excuse from the consequences of your ignorance. Do you understand what I'm saying? So so it is important that knowledge is important. When he told me, I said, how I wish I could, speak to this lady. There is something that is yet to be resolved. The body is not yet in alignment with the desire. There is not aligned. If you don't fix but your car will drift away. Do we understand? Do we understand? Right? So intense emotions become a highlighter to the brain. And it tells the brain, remember this. And when you remember this, react this way next time. So it's like a bulldozer. Sometimes you need to work consistently to create a bulldozer that will become a stronghold in somebody's mind. Right? In somebody's mind. And from that point, the person is out of alignment. It's out of alignment. Out of alignment. Out of alignment. Right? Moving on. I need to move on quickly. So the question is, how do we realign? How does anybody want to know? How do we get ourselves to the point where our members have embodied our desires? How do we realign? How do how do we get back in alignment? Right? And it's this simple formula to regulate, refrain, right? How do we realign? To regulate, we reframe, we rehearse, and we repeat. Remember what I said, the brain is an automation machine. And when we repeat something, it is a cue for the brain to make it automatic. So, number one is we need to regulate. We need to get ourselves back to a place of balance. And this is where, practicing being still, right, is important. This is where the practice of meditation and regulating your nervous system and bringing yourself to balance matters. Right? Regulate. You don't feel toxicity and negative energy. You are able to bring yourself back to a state of bliss, back to a place of stillness, right? And we've talked about this. Self-regulation is imperative. The problem is people are trying to achieve certain results. They are praying, but they are praying from a place of stress. They are praying from a place of chaos. The preparation of it is imperative that we prepare our heart and ensure that we have tilled the ground. Now, when you have tilled the ground, the next thing you want to do is to reframe your thoughts, to reframe your emotions. So, for instance, if you believe that making money is difficult or is a Herculean task, if you believe that for some reason, when it is your turn, for some funny reason, the opportunity will pass you by. If you believe that you always have near misses, you get so close, but then you miss the mark, and that has become a pattern in your life, you then need to reframe your thinking. To reframe your thinking. How do you reframe? You can reframe your thinking by visualization and by affirmation, by affirming what you want to see in your life as though it is your present reality. As though it is your present reality. You need to begin to say, for instance, if you feel like making money is hard and tough, and that is a belief, and those are the thoughts that always pop up in your mind, you need to reframe and reaffirm new thoughts and say, money comes to me effortlessly, speedily, and easily. Money finds me attractive, right? People and organizations, they seek me out to reward me for the use of my time and the use of my talent. It finds me attractive. I'm a money magnet. You have to consistently affirm change. Problem it's not something you do just once, it's something you have to do again and again and again, right? To begin to change the inner conversation. Visualization, you need to begin to create a different picture in your mind, because the picture that you keep seeing is a picture that reflects your past. You need to create a different picture and spend time, because where your attention goes, with that outcome that you want, you need to see yourself whole. You need to see yourself with your family, see yourself happy in bliss. You need to see yourself living that life that you desire. Even if everything around you is contrary to it, you need to be to change and by rehearsal, I mean you need to begin to embody. And this for me, I realize for most people is the life of your dreams as though it is happening now. Things that be not as though they were. You need to begin to walk as the person who is whole. That's why we do things like walking meditation, because we're beginning to change our alignments. You cannot walk like a victim and expect this world to reward you, as a victor. You cannot walk poor and expect that people will reward you with opportunities for abundance. There is a courage that you need to have. And I'm saying a lot of people are mindless of this thing. They don't realize that they're still carrying themselves as yesterday and they want to walk into tomorrow. You have to begin to prime your members, prime your body, look in the mirror and begin to talk as one who has received. Begin to walk as one who has received. Begin to rehearse your future today. It is because you are trying to change and fix the alignment of the car. Are we getting this thing? And then you need to repeat this again and again and again and again till it becomes the default inner dialogue that's happening internally. Do we understand? Right? Do we understand? This is how to fix. We need to fix the alignment. This is how to fix that inner compass. This is how to fix the inner compass. The problem is that the compass on the inside is tuned to the frequency of your past life. But you desire the new. But you see, your compass is tuned to the frequency of the previous life. And until you begin to change, make these changes, and you see, I'm telling you, as you are doing this thing, something on the inside of you will be telling you are making a fool of yourself. It is your body trying to defend your limitation. Hear what I'm saying? It is your body trying to defend your limitation. Because the body craves the past. The body desires the past experience. It loves the familiar. It loves normalcy. It loves your life the way it is. But that is the fight of faith that we need to fight. Right? That is the fight to regulate, to come to a place of balance, to come to a place of inner stillness, to begin to reframe our thoughts and begin to affirm consistently and make it a system. Make it a system. What does this mean? At a certain time every day, you do this to affirm, to visualize, to see that dream as your result today. And when you open your eyes, you will go into your life that contradicts that which you have just done. But you will also do it with your eyes open and remind yourself and rehearse walking as the person who is healed, and rehearse living the life and letting your body play catch up with that experience, and then repeating everything. Now, you see, I have discovered the missing piece. I always used to say, you guys probably have heard me say, in meditation, we close our eyes and we do it with our eyes closed, but we have to do it with our eyes open. And I always thought, Bankole, how can I create a system to help people do it with their eyes open? The missing piece is in the doing and is in the discipline of the doing. I think that is the missing piece. It is the doing and the discipline of the doing. And I remember it was it SOAR 11 that I was teaching, and this thing, it just hit me. It hit me that if I could create something that would help people have the discipline of doing over a period of time, they would be able to embody their dreams. The problem is what is embodied is the problem. What is embodied in most people is what they do not want in their lives. That's what the brain has automated for a number of people. And that's why when your mind wanders, the question is when your mind wanders, does your mind wander to your dreams or does your mind wander to problems? Think about it. Think about it. In the comments, please let me know. When your mind wanders and you catch your mind wandering, where did you travel to? Did you travel in the direction of your dreams or you traveled in the direction of your problems? Right? And you see, over 90% of our lives, we wonder. The question is, when you wonder, where do you wander to? And if you are always wandering in the direction of your problems, right, and your problems are not what you want to experience in life, misalignments. Misalignments. Let me see what you guys are saying. Fears, doubts in the direction of problems, to be honest. And you see, this is the challenge that our members haven't yet gotten it. So what can we do to help people have a discipline of doing these four things? A discipline of regulating, a discipline of reframing through affirmation and visualization, a discipline of rehearsing and embodying their vision, and a discipline of repeating. What if we could create something that will cause people to do this and be accountable for doing it? And you see, I remember when this, as I was teaching, and I thought to myself, maybe we need to move from teaching to doing, right? To getting people to be accountable to do. And that's when I knew that I had to set up a challenge, right? A challenge that would get people to commit to these activities so that their visions can be embodied in their members, so that their desires become what is registered in their members, so that when we drift and our minds can wander in the direction of our dreams. Can you remember when you were a child? Remember when you were younger and you used to dream and fantasize of those beautiful days, right? Remember, this is something that was innate with us when we were kids. We used to fantasize, and some of you used to even probably set a time to do that. But you see, as we grow older and we get into life, we are trained out of it, and all of a sudden, you see, you still have, it's the same mechanism, but it's just that we're using it for the wrong things. Guys, are you getting this? Right? So I thought to myself, how can we get people to visualize, to see it in their minds, to affirm, to speak their truth, to begin to rewire, to embody, to move as it? Because you see, when you move as it, you are already beginning to prime your body for that particular experience and to repeat and to repeat. What if we could get people to go on a 30-day journey, right? And they selected one thing that they wanted to automate in their members. One thing that they wanted to automate in their members, right? One thing in one area of your life. And for 30 days, every day you regulated, every day you visualized, right? And there were specific activities to carry out, a variation of different things. Every day you affirmed, every day you did something, every day you took an action, an embodied action, right? And you repeated this again and again and again. And you did this again and again. If repetition enhances retention, and retention is autopilot, then it means that we can get people to make automatic their vision. Do we understand? Right? Do we understand? Right? And guys, this brings me to the first activity that we will be having this year, right? And it is what I call the Vision Automation Challenge, right? And through this activity, we will get our minds and our bodies to align, right? Some of us, we had the Vision Automation Challenge last year, right? And this is going to be the second edition of the Vision Automation Challenge, right? And you see, the essence of this challenge is to get our members to embody our dreams so that when we mind wander, we land in the direction of our dreams and we are in alignment with our desires. Our bodies know it, our minds know it, right? And that obstacle that often gets in the way, we are able to overcome that particular obstacle. And you see, the Vision Automation Challenge, right, is a challenge where every day, right, there would be specific activities that we would be required to carry out. And you will be accountable. What does this mean? It means that if you don't do it, there are consequences to it not being done, right? So what we are offering, myself and my team are offering is accountability, meaning that, every morning there's something that you're supposed to do. There's a task of the day and there's something that you're supposed to do at night. And we will ensure you do it because there will be submissions. So we break people into different teams. We have coaches for each of the different teams, right? And in every team, everyone has an accountability partner, right? And every day we are ensuring that we move together. Nobody is held behind. Nobody is left behind. We are moving together, carrying out the different activities to ensure that we can embody in ourselves our dreams, our hopes, and our desires. I can only but imagine the transformation that you can begin to experience, right? One area of your life, right? One specific thing that you want to automate. And usually what I say is that one thing that you have struggled with for so long in your life. Maybe this is the opportunity to just embody to the point that the forces of this world have to ensure that that thing happen in your life, right? Every day for 30 days, there are specific activities that will be carried out. If you're interested and you get on the program, it will give you all the details in that regard, right? Now, for this to happen, I only want to have serious people on this challenge, right? And before the challenge starts, I always would have a one-on-one session with everyone who is interested in being a part of the Vision Automation Challenge. The challenge should be starting in March, right? We will communicate the dates to everyone who indicates interest. If you would like to be a part of this 30-day challenge, right? The link is on the screen. I think Agnes will also share the link in the chats, right, for you to book a Calendly session. And the reason I do this is because I want to be sure that you're ready for this particular challenge. I cannot afford to have any laggers on this challenge, right? Not everyone will be taking, right? So please feel free to register to have. I see. I think the one-on-ones are, I think they're 30 minutes, but they actually should be 15 minutes. We'll figure out a way to do that. But you can book a time, right, to have this one-on-one because I want to be sure that you're clear on the specific thing that you want to automate, and I want to be sure that you're best suited for this challenge, right? So if you'd like to be a part of it, you can book a one-on-one with me, right, between Wednesday and Friday, right? And further details of the challenge will be communicated with you, right? This year, I really, really want you to align. And as you align, I want you to experience the manifestation of that desire in this year. The problem a lot of times is not that God just wants to be delaying that thing that we want? Could it be that we feel we are waiting on God, but God is waiting on us? God is waiting on us to align, to be in alignment, for our heads and our hearts to be in alignment, for our members to embody what it is that we want. And once there is alignment and we click on the inside, things generally start to click on the outside, right? So I'm going to stop sharing, but remember the four things that I shared. And I think that these things are critical. Remember, for you to align, regulate, right? Who can remember the other things? Number one is regulate. What's the next one? Type it in the comments. What's the next one? Reframe. Remember to reframe. So pick that area of your life and reframe. Take some time to write what, affirm those words in the positive. After you frame, what's the next thing? Right? Affirm those words. Visualize the life that you want. And then rehearse. Rehearse means that some of you have to take yourself out to a place that's an indication of this new life that you want to experience. You need to start giving yourself a foretaste of that experience to begin to change the wiring of your mind, and then repeat. It says give a portion to 7, but also give a portion to 8. What does that mean? 7 is a number of perfection. When you think that it is perfect, start again. You need to repeat, because man, we have an adversary that goes around. There are no off days for him. So even you yourself, you have to be alert to keep rehearsing and repeating this particular thing until it becomes, automatic for you. I hope this has been insightful. I hope we've learned something. I do believe the link for the Vision Automation Challenge has been shared. Feel free to click on the link and book that one-on-one session with me, just to be sure that one, you have the right fit, just to be sure, because the people that are going on this journey, I want to be sure that we are all going together and we cannot afford to leave anyone behind. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you've learned something today. Remember, this year is the year of discernment. The year of discernment. Before you say yes, pause, 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 right? Not everything good is for you, right? It's also the year of alignment. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you very much. I hope you've learned something today. We will continue our series. We will update you on the next. Oh, yes. Thank you. Agnes just reminded me about something. We'll update you on our programs. Also, this year, I will be doing I'll be doing mini retreats, right? Yes, this year, so that we don't necessarily have to wait until December, right, to have the kind of experience that we have in December. So this year, we will have some mini retreats which will be communicated with you. Then I'm also going to have a program with El Shaka Ide, right? You guys remember El Shaka? If you came for the retreats, oh my goodness, El Shaka was on fire, right? We are having an event, a physical event together in Lagos, right? That should be happening, I believe, in April, right? All those details will be communicated with you also, right? Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely night rest. God bless you. Good night, guys.
There's a silent
Sorry, before you go, Demola, please can we stop the music? Sorry, I forgot to make an announcement. Please forgive me. I forgot to make an announcement. Agnes is also going to be sharing a link to volunteers, people who would like to volunteer to be a part of this work that I do, right, in different capacities, whether it is to work with me to plan events, or there's a prayer group that exists that prays for this community, right? You want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of the planning of our alumni program, stuff like that. You just want to serve in one capacity or the other, right? The link has also been shared by Agnes, right? If you'd like to be a part of the work that we do, we're expanding, we're growing by the day, but we want to ensure that we can be as available to be a blessing to as many people as possible, right? That link has been shared. Please feel free to indicate your interest in being a part of that, right? Thank you, everyone. Look forward to seeing